8:15 is the time. Good morning to you. Zombie knives and machetes still available to buy online. This more than a month after they were banned in England and Wales.
BBC News was able to purchase illegal weapons, some for under £20, from online retailers with UK websites. Two of the weapons were shipped from overseas. Our West of England correspondent Dan Johnson has this report.
On the 24th of September, the government introduced new restrictions on zombie knives and machetes.
Oh, that's got to be illegal.
But look what we received in the post.
That is sharp as well. That is not a toy.
We ordered these weapons online after the ban came into force.
There's a serrated edge on that as well.
They were delivered in just days.
The latest definition of a zombie knife is a blade over 8 inches long with a sharp pointed end and a plain cutting edge, plus an additional feature, a serrated edge, more than one hole in the blade, or multiple sharp points or spikes. So we believe all these are illegal.
We looked at the UK websites of knife retailers and we found these for sale in pounds.
It says we ship within the United Kingdom, and that looks familiar.
Even the knife the government used to show what is banned.
There's actually the weapon pictured on the Home Office poster.
Advertising restricted weapons is an offence.
Hi there, I just wanted to ask about something I've seen on your website.
But some retailers told us they wouldn't fulfil our orders.
All right. OK, thanks for your advice.
Here, though, is what was delivered. 4 knives from 3 British websites. Deadly weapons that are supposedly banned. We showed them to a criminal barrister who's dealt with many teenage stabbings.
All 4 of those knives are offensive weapons under the Act.
Is there any doubt in your mind?
None whatsoever.
There's no ambiguity in the definitions, the classification?
No.
And does it make any difference if these have been shipped from abroad?
None whatsoever. Importing them is a criminal offence. Manufacturing them in the UK is a criminal offence. Selling them, offering them for sale, hiring them or lending them is a criminal offence. Possession of them, even in your home, is now a criminal offence.
When we want to remember Malcolm, we come here. Not just remembering him, we really want to see the different faces of him. We just come here and say, he's always smiling.
Here's a teenage life, now held in a family memorial. Malcolm was 17 when he was stabbed trying to stop an attack, and another parent grieving the loss of youthful innocence.
What sort of knife?
I was a zombie knife. Serrated no zombie knife. That was the knife used to kill Malcolm. And that was a very cheap knife as well. Cost £19.99. That was the cost of the life of my son.
Now, these may be difficult to see, but you've agreed we can show you what we found. And this one...
It looks almost exactly like... But it's longer. It's enough.
I'm sorry to show you those.
It scares me. When I see this, it scares me. Because lives are being lost daily because of the availability of this.
This serrated machete also cost £19.99, one of 2 sent by Hunting and Knives. The company told us we have been reviewing the articles that did not comply with the new law and removing them, and that it was not our intention to make prohibited articles available to the end customer. 9fit sent this, described as a fantasy sword from overseas, even though its website says it ships within the UK. 9fit failed to respond. Hunting Crossbows sold us this hunting knife for £35. It arrived from America, but there was no indication it was coming from abroad. The retailer described these as display knives for decoration use only, and said they cannot damage any person unless modified.
Be in no doubt, this knife is really sharp. And I've spoken to so many bereaved families who know the real deadly impact that these weapons can have. That's why what we found raises such serious questions for retailers, but also for the police, for Border Force, and for government too.
Border Force is responsible for stopping dangerous items coming into the country. We filmed at the main parcels centre when the law changed at the end of September. They told us they can't check everything. The Home Office says it's important to investigate potential illegal activity, and it is reviewing the online availability of weapons as part of the government's effort to halve knife crime over the next decade.
I think the mere fact now we've got a certain type of weapon that we knew is extremely dangerous is now outlawed has got to be a positive thing.
How can it be possible these knives are still being advertised and still being sold?
This ban will have an impact. How much of an impact? Difficult to say, but we do know that some of the large UK retailers will no longer be selling these knives, so that's got to be a good thing. Is it enough? Time will tell. Will we have to change the law again? Quite possibly.
And a ban on ninja swords is already coming. This is just some of what we found on the internet. On social media, there's an even bigger challenge. That's the focus of the government's review, to try to stop these knives reaching the streets and the hands of teenagers.
The government needs to do more. Each time this knife is used on someone, lives are shattered forever. Homes are destroyed forever. Future are destroyed forever.
Yes, Dan joins us now. Morning to you, Dan.
Good morning.
Can you just take us back to that moment and in amongst, obviously, the emotions of those who've been harmed and killed in these scenarios that are most important? That moment when you open those packages, you know the report you're doing, you know what you're trying to find out is possible.
Yep.
And then something arrives.
Yeah, because what we thought was some websites were advertising things but not actually selling them. When we tried to order or inquired, they said we can't sell that now, it's been banned. Some websites we thought either these are scam sites that are just going to take our money and send nothing, or they're going to take our money and send something that's not quite as it's pictured. But we opened that box and what we actually pulled out was even more than we feared, even worse. These are deadly dangerous weapons. They are heavyweight, they are sharp, they really can do serious damage. And one of the companies told us that these were decorative items that wouldn't hurt anyone unless they were modified. That is laughable. These are serious, dangerous weapons that are being sent through the post, delivered to your door.
Are you breaking the law if you order them, or are you only breaking the law if you buy them?
It is unlawful.
If you sell them, sorry.
It is unlawful to manufacture, to sell, to advertise or to possess these weapons from the 24th of September. So there are a number of offences that could have been committed here. Websites that are advertising them are breaking the law and could be pursued by law enforcement. Selling them is a crime. Importing them into the country is also a crime too, and it's a crime to have those in your possession wherever you are. Whereas for some knives, you can have them in a private place, but not in a public place. Once they're on the banned offensive weapons list, you can't have those anywhere.
So they just shouldn't exist. So, in terms of if they are existing, what is law enforcement doing about this?
Well, they brought in this ban. They wanted this extra definition. They wanted the powers to seize these weapons, to stop them being sold, to take them off the streets. Now, that is happening, and lots of retailers have stopped selling these weapons, stopped advertising them. But clearly, what we've shown illustrates that there is still an issue, that there are still weapons being sent within this country, and there are offensive weapons being brought into the country. So questions for the police about what is on the internet, what is being sold, transacted, what is being sent and delivered. Questions for Border Force about what's coming into the country and then getting potentially into the hands of teenagers, because that's what this is all about. The government ban was supposed to take these off the streets, stop them being in the hands of teenagers, stop them being involved in the sorts of crimes where we've seen young people getting stabbed.
You know the boxes these knives came in? Did they say... Oh, it sounds a really stupid question. Did it say... Was it obvious it was a knife in the box?
No. A couple of them had barely any detail on them whatsoever. One said cosplay fantasy item. One said merchandise. So the view of these companies, some of them, is that they are just selling an item that you maybe would put on the wall or have on the mantelpiece. That would be unlawful anyway, but these definitely can do damage.
On the face of it, and nothing is ever straightforward, I know, in these things, but on the face of it, if you've got a company identifiable that is selling these things, why is it so complicated to take action against them? Find them, take them to court? Because presumably that if that happened, they wouldn't do it. Is it too simplistic to say they wouldn't do it if they knew there was a consequence?
Yeah. Well, some of the companies say they've made a mistake here. This is an oversight, that these items should have been taken down from their website, shouldn't have been sold. Others, the response we got was that they're not serious weapons anyway, but they are still banned. The problem comes in proving who knew what, who was culpable, and where are the companies based. Because even though these were .co.uk, British websites, selling in pounds, some of them are companies that have British listed addresses, company addresses and registered offices. Others, it seems like the websites are more of a front, and where the actual company is based is more confusing. So then it's difficult for law enforcement to work out, well, what is the chain of responsibility here? If it's a company that's actually based overseas, which bit of UK law are they under when they import it into the country? That is an offence, but how do you take action against somebody who might be in America, India, China, wherever? So there is complication, there is difficulty. There's a bit of confusion about exactly what the definition of a zombie knife is. Some of the experts we consulted weren't quite agreed on that, and that's something that might have to be tested as these things come to the courts. The Police Chief's Counsel told us this is fresh. This only came in a few weeks ago. Yes, it's supposed to stop the sale of these things, but that will take time. They've admitted there's more that they've got to do.
Dan, thank you very much.